You're listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott. And across from me, he doesn't like April showers, but he does love golden ones. It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How do pod people?
This is another one of our in-betweeny bonus non-franchise episodes where we're going to be talking about trailers and recommendations. We usually do news, but if you listen to our last one, you know we recorded this at the same time as the last bonus episode because I was called to do a very important mission, guys. I'm a very important man. I'm like the Jason Bourne of the podcasting world. Also, Alan went on holiday. But anyway, the point is that there's no news this week, but we will have some trailers for your delectation. We'll have some recommendations, and this was recorded the same time as the last one. So, like, I don't know, just think, ooh, they recorded this in the past before possibly maybe Brexit's happened, or has it happened, or has it been postponed? We don't know. You do. I suspect we'll still be thinking, when's it going to happen? But there we go.
Yeah, this is like a podcast inception. It's like bong, inside another one, bong, inside another one.
That's also the sound of my orgy. Bong inside another one. That's the noise my balls make. We also did have an Inception level podcast, I believe, a couple of bonus episodes ago when we did our Queen and Associated podcast. So, in this, the shortened, abbreviated, this fucking all killer, no filler.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, let's be clear, most of this show is filler. Like, if we ever make a good point, it was purely by accident. We're gonna go straight into our favourite segment.
Yep.
That is, of course, Trailer Talk. Bum bum bum. Alan.
Yeah.
We are part of the Animation Nation.
It's cartoon time, everybody.
We're stopping at the animation station. Real actors are getting castration.
What?
I don't know. Listen, I was drinking till 4 in the morning last night. Give me a break. So we're talking about animation.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of them. There's a beloved animated film that broke the mold, and it's entranced young and old. It's sort of made animation, I think, come out of the just for kids era and made it like animation could just be great, family friendly, sure, but just great entertainment. I refer, of course, to Angry Birds, the classic, the godfather of the computer animated films.
One could say it changed the game.
Oh, I see what you did there. All right, lovely. So there is a sequel to Angry Birds.
Yes.
Are your kids too old to have seen Angry Birds, or was that in the wheelhouse of the wee man?
Not really interested at all.
So you haven't seen this then?
No, I have
the
not
original.
seen Angry Birds. No, I was shocked at the cast list in Angry Birds 2. We got Jason Sudeikis, Josh Gad, Leslie Jones, Bill Hader, Rachel Bloom, Danny McBride, Peter Dinklage, Sterling K. Brown, Aquafina. It's a hot, talented cast.
Why do you think they've done it? Oh, money. That's why. They like making money, you fucking rube.
Surely Bill Hader's got enough to occupy him that he's not want to be a bird or a pig or whatever character he is.
Can you come down to a studio around your schedule and have to put in maybe like a couple of hours work every couple of months, and we'll pay you a fucking fortune? No, man, I'm just too busy. Of course they're going to do it. But you know what? It's tough being a Hollywood person, right? If you're a Hollywood liberal, you've got to earn money to pay for all those abortions that you're paying for. That's what they're doing, man. And listen, hey, we live in a country where we get free abortions, right?
Yeah.
Hollywood liberals, they have to spend money on, promoting abortion, communism, and paid protesters. So, they need that money.
Do crisis actors need a SAG card?
Well, it's only if they've got a speaking role.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I mean, listen, we know what we're talking about. We're from showbiz. I've actually helped cast a lot of crisis actors. So listen, let's talk about Angry Birds 2.
I mean, what... This has a Jaws reference and a Game of Thrones reference.
I love that they had a tagline from Game of Thrones because it says, like, winter is coming.
Yep.
So I actually hope that there's loads of Game of Thrones references. Like, there's a little animated Littlefinger and he's presiding over a little animated whorehouse. And there's just lots of, like, wee birds, like, sucking other birds off to try and get information. I'm not going to lie. I would watch that. Angry Birds 2, if somebody can watch this and tell me, is there an animated Aidan Gillen presiding over birds fucking people? people and getting information. Maybe the first one is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I preferred the French original, Jean-Luc Godard's Angry Birds.
Hitchcock's Angry Birds.
Yeah. They were pretty angry.
Really angry.
Pretty peeved. So listen, we usually, are we in or we out? I think
it's fairly clear.
I think as part of our roles as the Hollywood elite, we sometimes get some money from Soros, and we funnel that to a mix of crisis actors, paid protesters, and just like abortions as far as I can see. Thank you, George Soros, for the money. We are part of the Illuminati. I hope we've tried to make this as clear as possible. We did fake the moon landings. We weren't old enough to be involved at the time, but we've done a lot of admin on the cleanup, So, like, in a way, I feel like we've played our part in the faking.
We contributed.
Yeah. Tower 2, that was our first gig. That was me and Alan's first gig at the Illuminati. We're just young members of the Illuminati, full of piss and vinegar. Thought we were going to change the world, man.
Yep.
Also, the world is flat. But listen, I feel we're giving away too many secrets about the Illuminati. We should get back to...
It's fine. It's on this podcast. Nobody listens.
That's we all know that's not true. Listen, so, we're out for that.
Yep.
But, speaking of Angry Birds, we also saw a trailer for Frozen 2. The sequel to the story about a broad that just can't contain her anger and ruins it for everybody. That's the main takeaway I took from Frozen.
Well, Frozen was accused by certain in the Christian community in the US of being part of the gay agenda. It was charged with normalising homosexual lifestyles.
Is there gays in the Frozen?
Not explicitly, no.
Like that wee snowman did was just like fucking loves the Bobby.
He was just a one-man snow-filled pride.
Yeah.
No explicit.
So what was it?
LGBT.
Because sisters danced?
Sisters
do it for themselves.
They thought that Let It Go was a metaphor for coming out.
I can only remember the chorus that goes, let it go, let it go. Is the rest of it about have sex with people of your own gender?
No.
Okay. Then I don't understand that. Okay.
Literally no reference to it. Apparently, you just can't have a liberating story about a young woman without, Christian fundamentalists bolting on their narrative that Disney are trying to turn all their kids queer, which is scandalous.
I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, at the same time as at the time of recording, J.K. Rowling, just kidding Rowling.
Yes.
She's always talking about like gay shit that didn't happen in her stuff, but has happened retrospectively. I don't understand. I don't know any of these characters, so I don't really know. But the point is that do you think that she's kind of riled up the Christian right? Because they're going like, fuck, I knew it. Hagrid was fucking mad for the cock.
Christian fundamentalists were already against Harry Potter because
it's witchcraft.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that witchcraft. It's simply taboo.
Yeah, the J.K. Rowling thing's weird just because she's happy to say, oh yeah, those two were gay at it all the time. Put it in the story.
Stick that in the kids' book.
Let's not pussyfoot around after the fact, J.K. In direct opposition to Angry Birds 2. I quite enjoyed Frozen. It's funny when it's meant to be funny. It's dramatic when it's meant to be dramatic.
Yeah,
and
it was
the songs
alright.
were pretty catchy.
I watched it because I did a joke about it for a year, and then it was on telly, and then I went, I should probably watch this film that I've made a joke about in case I'm completely massacring the song. And I watched it, and I was like, you know what? Perfectly fine. Nice kind of story and message, some funny bits, but quite evidently also not for me. It's a kid's film, but I bet you if I had a kid who was of a certain age, they would just be like, this is the best. And totally cool, man. And we need more films like that. And because when I was a kid, I had those films. Robocop, Predator. I spit on your grave.
I mean, the movie took over $1 billion, $1.2 billion at the box office, and the key cast are all back. But now Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven are leaving Arndale to go off to Adventures New. And I just wonder if it's going to be embarking into other aspects of like fairy tale lore, or are they going to make good on the weird Easter egg that Anna and Elsa's parents are the parents from Tarzan?
Wait, what?
Elsa and Anna's parents go off on a ship and they're shipwrecked, and there was a theory amongst some people that shipwreck is a shipwreck from Tarzan.
Right, hold on. We need to have a wee talk here.
Okay.
You said it was an Easter egg.
Yes.
It's not actually anywhere in the film. It's just something that a bunch of people like you on the internet have decided would be nice if it happened.
I'm just reporting to you.
Don't you fucking...
We were all conspiracy theories 2 minutes ago, and now suddenly I'm bringing up a real validated one.
Because this is... you've just said it's real and validated. You can't come out and then be like, oh, I'm a member of the fucking Fifth Estate or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what estate it is, man. I don't know how high up this conspiracy goes, Chris. I mean, it might go to the very top. This podcast runs on Reithian principles. We're here to educate and inform. You think I wanted to talk about Frankenstein's spunk? The point is...
A little bit.
I mean, yeah, I totally do. It's really funny. The point is... That's on our Frankenstein episode, by the way, in case you're like, what episode has all the Frankenstein spunk chat? So it's at no point is this actually in the film. Some fucking fake news, InfoWars bullshit. Johnson, you are the Alex Jones of this podcast. Yeah, I mean, listen, Frozen 2, I'm not going to watch it because I'm a grown-up unless I do a joke specifically about Frozen 2. In which case, at some point when it's on TV, I'll watch it. I'm out. You in?
Let's say I'll wait until it's out in the home market before. I wouldn't go to the cinema necessarily to see it. So a tentative in, I guess.
He's a tentative in, just like his orgies. We've talked about Frozen, we've talked about Angry Birds, but we're talking about the real daddy of animated films. A film that I was making reference to earlier, but did an old bait and switch. Old fucking comedy 101. There is now a third sequel, which makes it the fourth. I know how to do maths. In the Toy Story franchise, Toy Story 4, Alan Johnson, a trailer's come out. What do you think?
Well, it's funny because Toy Story is the only perfect trilogy that exists in all of franchise cinema.
Well, that's only because they only made 2 Juice Bigelow's Male Gigolos. If they'd made a third one, then we'd have got, three for three, let's be honest.
Absolutely right. So Toy Story 4, we'd had a teaser recently where that little weird looking fork guy was along with all the toys, and now here he is with Woody, and they go off on a sort of odd couple adventure. Yeah,
now cutlery is sentient. What the fuck is going on with these people? Fucking cutlery is sentient. And there's a bit where the spork or whatever goes, oh, I was meant to be used and then maybe thrown in the trash. Like, it wants to die. It knows it shouldn't be alive. This fucking living monstrosity knows that it is an affront to God and it wants to die. And this film seems to treat it like a little grand adventure. It's a monster. Kill me. Kill me. That's what I hope it is, just like an hour of this wretched fucking abomination pleading for its death. Don't do it.
And it's got an army of evil ventriloquist dolls in it. So, I mean,
it did look pretty good. I was speaking to some friends about this the other day because evidently I have conversations about films even outside of this fucking I was going to say studio, which is very grand for your fucking basement kill room. But basically, Toy Story 4, I was saying the problem is that it has been great. The first 3 films are fantastic, grade A, awesome, brilliant, fucking heartwarming, funny, what you want.
Yeah.
But we're rolling the dice again. It's pretty rare, as you said. It's maybe the only trilogy that you can say all 3 are fucking 10 out of 10. We're rolling the dice on a 4th one at some point. Listen, I don't know if you've heard this song by a popular folk group. It was called Ace of Spades by Motorhead. And it's all about gambling.
Yes.
Didn't end well for Lemmy. He was the singer of that band. Did not look well. And I worry that Toy Story 4, despite this trailer looking quite good, and I've got a lot of faith in Pixar, maybe this is going to end up like old Lemmy. Toy Story's just going to be going around one too many times, croaking, sad, shambling presence of what it used to be. I know. It's a worry. But on the trailer alone, it looks great. It does look great. It really looks great. I hope they pull it off. Which also I shouldn't say pull it off because, there's been some accusations around Pixar, let's be honest as well. Lasseter, I hardly knew her. Sounds like an excuse.
Unwanted hugs.
Unwanted hugs. I mean, even Pixar's fucking sexual abuse scandal is fucking cute. It's like, you can't even fucking jerk off in front of somebody, you fucking wacky funsters. So listen, sentient cutlery, the whole gang's back. And they've got the Beach Boys in the soundtrack. God only knows. Actually, to be fair, cutlery is probably more sentient than Brian Wilson is right now. I mean, that boy, he's a lot of acid.
Yeah.
If I told you my Beach Boys story, well, not Brian Wilson's story. No, I went to see Brian Wilson when they first toured Pet Sounds.
Okay, yeah.
Great show. Brian Wilson wasn't doing a lot.
No, I have had friends that work on that show. They
wheel him in and out,
They don't really even plug in his keyboard.
Yeah, he literally spent the whole show watching, and I was nudging my mate going, he's not touched the keyboard once. Then at the very last song, he played like one chord. It's really sad, but you can look at the bright side of it is that, because, he's done a lot of drugs, his brain's a bit bit fucked. Basically, it's all these amazing session musos doing Pet Sounds with his vocals very low in the mix, but everyone else is all beautiful around it. And it's still enjoyable, and it's like, okay, Pet Sounds great. At least that's the guy who wrote it. I'm glad he's getting this valedictory kind of tour or whatever. And then like after the first song or whatever, right, he goes, "This song's for my brother Carl. He died." Round of applause. He plays another song. Goes, "This song's for my brother Dennis. He also died." And then like, and then it's just like, and then I can't remember what he was like, what the other brother was called. It was like, you know, "This one's for my brother Jim." And then he played it, and everyone went, "Hey, he's still alive, guys! He's got a brother that's still alive." It was giving me excitations. So listen, we're obviously in for Toy Story 4. We're gonna watch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I'm fearful. I'm just saying it, Al.
Yeah, what need was there to go back to that well?
That's it.
You know, Pixar are doing fine, and suddenly now there's a hefty amount of sequels coming from Pixar.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need them.
This is when they turn from artisans into just a fucking factory of just putting out product. And you know what? I'm glad, because as we all know, I'm a big fan of giving shareholders value. And that's why I hope poor Disney, all they've got is those underperforming Marvel films. I know that those shareholders need value and growth in their investment. So let's give it up. I hope we all just give it up for the shareholders every day. Thank you very much. That was Trailer Talk. I was out for Angry Birds. You were out for Angry Birds.
Yep.
You're slightly in, but only in the home video market for Frozen, which is, I don't even know if that's an out or an in. It's a halfway house. It's a
tentative in.
Thank you very much, Al. And we're both in for Toy Story 4.
Yep.
That was, of course, our Animation Station Nation repatriation was a celebration. It's given me excitations. It was, of course, Trailer Talk. Bum, bum, bum.
Recently, I had a little Harrison Ford double bill. And I watched two minor, but still very good Harrison Ford movies. One, Robert Zemeckis' What Lies Beneath, a kind of adult horror film.
As in like a grown-up film?
Yes,
It's not like full of tits and dick.
There's sex in it, but
Woo!
no,
I'm
in. Not explicit. Do you know what? Really good. I remember seeing it at the time.
I've never seen it, but loads of people said, that's a good wee film.
Yeah, at the time, I remember watching it and just being blah. Watched it there.
Blah.
Really, it's actually really pretty good. The only real criticism I have
is that it wasn't all like rotoscope, like Robert Zemeckis likes to do now.
There's a weird section where there's some driving and you can totally tell it's Robert Zemeckis style computer generated stuff going on. But I would say it's kind of a problem of films at that time that they don't know just how to end neatly.
All right,
there's sort of multiple, you should end here. So it makes it a little long, but it was great.
Huh?
And then the second one might be a little problematic for some people, depending on your opinion. But I watched Frantic, Roman Polanski's Frantic, starring Harrison Ford.
Which obviously Polanski's a prick, but if I remember correctly, that film's a belter.
It's great.
It's a crying film.
Like weird, twisty, kind of Hitchcockian
Man
thriller.
Abroad, yeah.
Yeah. Polanski is a monster, but like Chinatown, Rosemary's Baby, I'll always watch. I just have to take him out of the picture.
As we said before, he's a monster. He's a piece of shit human being. Like, I hear that thing where people go, well, I didn't even like that stuff anyway.
Cancelled. He's cancelled.
But they also go like, oh, I didn't like that stuff anyway. You go, yeah, you did.
Right,
shut your fucking mouth. We can have an adult conversation about it. I mean, not in this podcast, but, other people could have adult conversations about it.
Anyway, so for me, Harrison Ford in Frantic and What Lies Beneath.
Excellent. My recommendation is going to be, there's been some set photos released from the new Tarantino film, which is all about Charles Manson. So if you're like this podcast, you're probably familiar with You Must Remember This, the film podcast.
Of course,
classic Hollywood. One of the sort of series of episodes they did was all about Charles Manson.
Yep, 10 episode run on
which is
Charlie
great. It's easy to find now because they put it out when Manson died on its own little feed, just that as a mini a mini thing. So it's called You Must Remember Manson. That podcast in general is pretty good. I really enjoy it. I think it's got
really great.
Some great stuff in it. But that we run about Charles Manson's very fascinating and very well done, tastefully done. Again, much like what we do.
And really enlightening.
Yeah, his amazing plan that he thinks that there's going to be a race war, but white people are superior, but somehow white people will also be destroyed in the race war.
Yeah.
And then his group of white people who are all acid-frazzled hippies will somehow be able to come back out after it's all done and run the world. I mean, I'm just going to say it. See this Charles Manson guy? He's a real Fruit Loop. I'm going to recommend that. As ever, you can send us your comments, your suggestions, pictures of your genitals, and emails at diminishingpod@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are diminishingpod. On Facebook, we are Diminishing Returns Podcast. You can tag us and stuff at Diminishing Returns Pod. On Instagram, we're Diminishing Pod. We have a vlog at diminishingpod.wordpress.com, and we've got the odd video on YouTube if you can find it. We're an independent podcast. As ever, guys, the important thing is telling your friends. So if you can all pick one friend that's into cool movies and can understand Scottish accent and also there's a high threshold for sexual swear words, send them a link to a specific episode of the show that you think they may like, or put it on their device for them, because we want to grow the show, we want to keep doing the show, and if you can rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Right, a lot of people, I didn't realise, listen to podcasts on Spotify, so please, if you know anyone who listens to stuff on Spotify, point them our way. So please get us more listeners. So that was the second of our 2 episodes that were recorded back to back, in the same way that Back to Future 2 and 3 were recorded back to back, in the same way the second and third 50 Shades of Grey films were done back to back. I can't really remember what they were called. Much in the same way that me and Alan's erotica thrillers are going to be filmed back to back.
It's how we do orgies.
And also back to back is how we do orgies, which is why we've never caught an STD yet. But back to back, heart to heart, we don't know what's happening. You're listening to this in the future. If there's robot overlords, I will round up people. I don't give a fuck. You know why? Because I'm a survivor, baby. Me and Beyonce are goddamn survivors. Who runs the world? Podcasters run the world. That's right. And we will see you next time. We don't know what film we're going to do. Bye! Having known you, I think the only reason you haven't sent a dick pic is I don't think you could work out the technology. Not your age. You're trying to send somebody an etching to the post.